It's a sport that has been dominated by men until recent years. Now more women are carving their own niche in mixed martial arts, or simply called MMA, a full contact combat sport which combines various martial arts moves including Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and also boxing.
That's right. The evidence, more professional female fighters are entering the rings. In Singapore, for example, women fighters for the first time will battle it out in a martial combat competition.
And one of them is Haigh, who is currently ranked third for Muay Thai in the world. And we also have Elbe, an MMA veteran who owns a gym in Phuket, which specializes in female MMA training. Very good morning.
Good morning,
to you,
guys.
Thanks for coming in. Now, Ray, you have a gym that trains women like Claire in the sport. Have you seen a surge in interest in this sport, especially women, because this is a male-dominated game?
Well, it definitely is. One of the things about mixed martial arts is it's the fastest growing sport in the world now. And there's larger promotions that have really started pushing female competitors. And with that, martial combat has kind of led the way in Asia. So we have definitely seen a surge with it getting on TV and more exposure, and women seen as an opportunity to not only earn an income, but compete professionally. So, yes.
I guess because traditionally you always think that boys fight, girls don't, you know, in that sense. But Claire, tell us, how did you get into this?
I started at university, but mainly for fitness and to meet friends as a hobby. And then when I moved to Thailand about 2 years ago, I started training a lot more and had quite a lot of unexpected success in my fights, and then it just sort of took off from there, really.
How do you find the sport, though? Was it challenging in the beginning for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard work. Thai boxing's hard, MMA is hard. You get injuries, you have to train hard, you have to watch what you eat, you know, you have to make some sacrifices in your social life and, you know, with your work as well, but it's worth it. Yeah.
Wow, it really sounds like, I mean, you know, like, I guess people often think of it as a hobby and, you know, something extra you do out of work.
Not a career.
Yeah, not really a career, as you mentioned. Do you have any martial arts background? Is that where you started off?
Not really. Like I said, it was more of a whim just at university. It could have been rugby club, but it was the boxing club I chose. So.
But when it comes to MMA for females and for males, is there a difference, or are they trained in the same way? Because, you know, our bodies are different to a certain extent.
Yeah, but I think essentially anytime you're competing in professional sports, it comes down to sports science. And fundamentally, whether you're a male or a female, the body essentially is the same. I mean, right? Anything a man can do, as my girlfriend would say, a female can do better, you know? So, no, essentially we need to work the same fundamentals, the same techniques, hone the same ideas. So I would say training is very similar between a male and a female.
What about tactics and strategies, or perhaps maybe Claire, you can share with us. Do you think the kind of moves you would use or the approach you take to the competition would be different from a guy?
I don't think so, because I'll be evenly matched in strength with my opponent. So I think Ray gives me the same advice and cornering strategies that he would give to his other students.
Then do I take it as both of you feel it is fair to have a woman fight against, spar against a male? Because, you know, a lot of us would say that's not really fair, female versus male.
You know, ideally I think it would be best if you could have women training partners with other female training partners, just because you're taking out the dynamics of the strength and you're focusing on the technique. But unfortunately, since this is a growing market, there's really not that many female training partners available. So in that situation, Claire usually gets paired up with guys.
In fact, she's won her male opponent.
You've beat up a few guys, haven't you?
Yeah, sometimes.
Pretty well as well. What do you think is the difference for yourself? You know, I know you're ranked third in Muay Thai in Thailand and, you know, around the world. I mean, what gives you that edge, you think, as compared to your peers?
Well, I'm very lucky in Thailand that I can afford to train, to just focus on training. I think one of the things that holds a lot of people back, especially perhaps in Europe or in the States, is that it's just not viable financially speaking to only train and fight, whereas living in Thailand is a little bit cheaper, obviously, than living in Europe. Right. So you can focus all your time on your training, and I think that's been a big advantage for me.
How long do you train each day?
About 2.5 hours to 3 in the morning, and the same again in the evening. But then between, I just eat and sleep. So obviously, I wouldn't be able to maintain a full-time job with that amount of training. So.
What's the worst injury you've had?
Oh dear.
Ray broke my nose last year, so that was...
And he was the one.
Actually, a week before she fought 8-time world champion Angie Parr, and she ended up taking the fight with a broken nose, and as you guys saw clips of the fight earlier, won in the second round. So it was not my fault. I'm not a woman beater.
But that was I think that was quite painful. But well, touch wood, I've been quite lucky so far. So.
Well, for you it's a career, but a lot of women are taking up the sport as a hobby. Do you think there's a special reason behind this, besides the fact that maybe it's more exciting and more, energizing than any other sport out there?
Well, one of the things about it for fitness is it's a full body workout. So we're not just walking on a treadmill for endless hours, and we're not just stretching. I mean, essentially, you're getting in a complete workout. You're getting in both a cardio fitness, you're getting in the stretching, you're getting in the strength and conditioning with the push-ups and the pull-ups. So really, it's one of those things that you can set short-term goals, you can achieve those, and as you start seeing your body change and you get into better shape, you can start setting those long-term goals.
That sounds really good. You've got to show us moves.
Yeah. In fact, you guys have prepared a short demo. You can show us some of the moves.
Sure.
So, take the shoes off.
A lot of times the fight will get into a close distance, and from here fighters will exchange minimal strikes. And one of the things that Claire's going to do is she's going to look to create space by pushing and pulling and throwing the elbow over the top. As you notice, she throws that elbow with an open hand. That open hand is more likely to cause bone on bone, which is going to cause some sort of cut or a concussive strike. From here we continue striking, and she lands an inside knee onto the inside of my thigh, which knocks my balance off. Once my balance is knocked off, it makes it rather easy for her to land a strike from here.
Right.
Now the thing about submission grappling and MMA is it's not just strikes, but it's also joint locks and choke holds, various things like that. So as I try to shoot in for the takedown, if I expose my neck, this arm around here can cut off those carotid arteries, forcing me to either choke out or go unconscious from lack of blood.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't look easy.
I don't want to meet
all.
Claire on the street, that's for sure. But how do you guys determine a winner? I mean, because is the guy knocked out, or when he says, I quit?
You know, essentially there's several different ways that you can win a mixed martial arts match. Unlike boxing, there's no knockdown where the referee counts you out. It's a little bit safer in this sport in the fact that if you get knocked down and you can't intelligently defend yourself, that is the end of the match. So your brain doesn't keep rattling around in your head the whole time. So you can win by a ref stoppage. You can win obviously by a knockout. You can win by a submission hold, which is what you saw me do on the side of her leg. 3 taps, meaning I tap out. Or you can win, obviously, at the end of time, the judge scorecards declare a winner.
Wow. All right. Well, thanks, guys, for sharing all that and for showing us some moves.
Yeah, definitely sounds like an exciting one.
And a great workout, I'm sure.
Well, that was Claire Haigh there and Ray Elbe. They will showcase their skills in the martial combat. That's happening tonight at 8 p.m. at the Compass Ballroom in the Resorts World Convention Center.